What's up? Welcome back to another Ray Reads episode. This is a special episode because this is the first time I'm going to have my daughter with me. She's going to be helping out. This is Ada. Say hello, Ada.
Hi.
All right. So tell them the name of this book we're going to be reading.
This is called Fancy Party Gowns, and it's about this famous fashion designer named Chloe Lowe.
It's Anne Cole Lowe.
Anne Cole Lowe.
And what is important about her, she lived at a time when there was a lot of adversity for minorities and black people. But she was very determined, and she's still, you know what, instead of us telling you how good she was, we're going to read the book and you're going to see for yourself. So Ada, let's see who's going to go first. Let's do a rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first, right?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
What?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I swear we didn't plan this. All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Stop that. Stop it.
I'm not doing that. Okay, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
All right.
Oh man!
Give me this book. This is so crazy. We didn't plan that.
Seriously.
So, we didn't tell you. This book was written by Deborah Blumenthal and illustrated by Laura Freeman. So, let's get started. So it goes, when she was old enough to thread a needle, Anne Cole Lowe's mama and grandma taught her how to sew. Wisps of cloth would fall from their work tables like confetti, and Anne would scoop them up and turn them into flowers as bright as roses in the garden. Anne's family came from Alabama. Her great-grandma had been a slave, so her family knew about working hard just to get by.
Anne also knew doing what you love would set your spirit soaring, so that's what she did, working near her mama and the family shop, making glorious dresses for women who went to fancy parties. But when Anne was 16, death stole away her mama. There was no one to care for her anymore, and no one to make the dresses. The Alabama governor's wife was waiting for her gowns. Anne thought about what she could do, not what she couldn't change. So she sat down and sewed the dresses herself. Then she stood up and ran the business. In 1916, Anne got a job sewing dresses for a woman in Florida. A year later, the woman sent her to design school in New York. Anne was a good student and a fast learner. But it was 1917, and Anne had to study in a separate classroom all alone because she was African American, and life wasn't fair.
That didn't stop Anne. She kept on making extravagant gowns, and year after year, more and more women wanted to wear them. Elegant dresses, party gowns. No two were alike. I feel so happy when I'm making clothes that I could just jump up and down with joy, she said. Finally, Anne saved enough money to open a salon of her own in Manhattan. She had big bills to pay and sometimes not enough money to pay them. That didn't stop her. When Anne saw obstacles, she thought about what she could do, not what she couldn't change. One day, Anne got a special order. A lady in Washington, D.C. was marrying a senator. 7 years later, this man, John F. Kennedy, would become president of the United States. Anne bought 50 yards of the finest ivory silk, taffeta, and the trimmings to go with it. For months, she cut and sewed the gown and had a wide bouffant skirt with pleated bands and tiny wax flowers. Anne also made all the dresses for the wedding party.
Just 10 days before the wedding, Anne opened the door to her workroom. "No!" she cried. A pipe had burst. Water gushed everywhere, flooding everything. 10 of the 16 gowns were destroyed. Anne thought about what she could do, not what she couldn't change. She bought more fabric and trim and hired others to help. She lost money instead of earning it. In just 8 days and 8 nights, Anne and her team remade all the dresses. But when Anne brought the gowns to the mansion in Newport, Rhode Island, where the wedding reception would take place, the butler opened the door, told her she'd have to use the back entrance that was meant for workers. Anne said that if she had to enter through the back door, the bride and bridesmaids wouldn't be wearing her dresses for the wedding. She entered through the front door.
The day of the wedding, all the world saw the future First Lady of the United States, Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy, in her magnificent gown, and her bridesmaids dressed in bluish pink silk file. But I'm going to put an image up now on the screen of the actual dress in the wedding. It was really beautiful.
Yes, it's pretty.
Hardly anyone knew something more important: the name of the woman who had created all those gowns, despite the odds. Why? Because Anne Cole Lowe was African American and life wasn't fair. That didn't stop Anne.
Famous women wore her gowns at big galas and on television. "I like to hear about it," said Anne, "the oohs and ahs as they come into the ballroom." Anne didn't make fine clothes to get rich or famous. She made them, she said, to prove that a Negro can become a major dress designer. Slowly, Anne got the recognition she deserved. In 1961, she was named official coterie to honor her for the 33 Cinderella gowns she designed for a fancy ball in Omaha, Nebraska.
I think that word is couturière, but we'll have to look that up.
Yeah. After so long, Anne stood up before fashion's biggest names, head held high, and they applauded her.
All right, so hopefully you get an idea why I really wanted to read this book and how kind of important Anne Cole Lowe is. Because if you think about it, a lot of the people she worked for were either millionaires and even some were billionaires. So those type of people, money is kind of no object to them. So they didn't choose her because she was affordable. They chose her because she was the best at what she does. And that really should kind of inspire us that whatever we're doing, our craft, we want to do the best we can, try to be the best at it and be creative also, not look like everyone else, whatever we're doing. So that's really a good thing. All right, there's something I want to point out important about the dress that Anne Cole made for Jacqueline Kennedy at her wedding, and how it was received. I'm going to read exactly what is in the Wikipedia article. The gown that she wore was the creation of African-American fashion designer Anne Lowe, who never received credit for it during her lifetime. Instead, when asked who made her dress, Jacqueline Kennedy said it was a colored woman. So that the reason that is really wrong is Jacqueline Kennedy is someone from high society. She knows all about etiquette and giving credit to those who deserve it. And for her not to say the name of Anne Lowe was really a great disrespect, and it showed how society kind of exploited a lot of minorities who were very talented back then. They may have used their services but didn't give them what they were worth, and especially, and even given saying their name. Yeah, so we don't want to make this a negative. We don't want to say this is a negative book, but there's a lot of negative things that happened to Ann Cole in her life, and that's just one of them. But we still want to focus on her perseverance and how she did the best she could, and she was very highly skilled. So we also want to do the best we can in whatever we do, right, Ada?
We're going to read the author's note now. So, yeah.
All right. So the author's note says, Ann Cole Lowe, born in 1898, was the first African-American woman to become a designer of couture clothing. Between the 1920s and the 1960s, her one-of-a-kind designs were worn by various society women, such as the DuPonts, the Lodges, the Posts, and the Auchincloses. Did I say that right?
We may have to look that up too.
Anne is now best known for the ivory silk taffeta gown she designed for Jacqueline Bouvier's wedding to John F. Kennedy on September 12, 1953, at St. Mary's Church in Newport, Rhode Island. She's also known for designing the gown that Olivia de Havilland wore to the 1947 Academy Awards when she won the Best Actress Award for her role in To Each His Own. In her later years, Anne continued to design dresses for prominent women. She struggled financially, though, and in 1960 was forced to close her salon in New York City. Anne continued her work until her retirement in 1972. She spent the last 5 years of her life living in Queens, New York. While researchers of Anne's life will find inconsistencies in her biography, what is never in dispute is the extent of her talent. Ann Cole Lowe died on February 25, 1981, at the age of 82. Wow, so you kind of see why we wanted to read this book, and it's really interesting that why didn't we hear of her before from all the great things she did? You like to make dresses, Ada. What do you think when you see what she went through back then and how good she was?
It makes me think of how hard she worked to make the dresses and how people didn't appreciate her work when she worked so hard to give the dresses. I think they should have been more kind to her because she should have deserved what she did, because what she did was very good, and it was beautiful dresses. So I think she deserved better than that.
You know what though? Some people treated her good, because that lady, remember the lady that sent her to design school? They didn't say her name though, but that lady was. That was really special what she did, because maybe Ann Cole would not have been able to do a lot of the things if she didn't go to design school. So yeah, that's one thing. That's what we learned from this book. If you have any questions, if you know anything about her that we don't know historically, you can leave them in the comments below. Yeah, thanks for watching. And hey, until next time, no matter what book you read to inspire yourself or your children, until next time, as always,
keep it real.
That's it, yeah. See you next time. All right, Ada, so you kind of creative too. You like to draw, paint, but you also like to make dresses for your dolls. So tell everyone about some of the dresses that you made. What's up with this one here?
Okay, this one, it's a jumper. I have a shirt that came with her and a pants that came with her, and I put the pants and the shirt on and then put this over when we're going somewhere, and I want her to wear this dress, and she has the bow that goes with it, I tie it in the back of her hair, but
So-
it also goes with the dress with the strip.
And how did you make this one?
Ribbon. Okay, so I used jeans that my mom doesn't need anymore, and I use red ribbon. You could use any color ribbon you want, and I flipped this piece over and cut a heart because I like hearts and I think they're really cute. And I put one ribbon here and tied a bow and put it here.
Hey, that kind of looked like an old mini skirt though. What's up with that?
I made it. I wanted to get a skirt because making pants for her would be too complicated, so I decided just to go with a skirt.
All right. Yeah. So whatever you kids are interested in, take time. If you're going to be watching TV or playing video games, take some time away from that to do something creative, because one day whatever you learn, you can always take it with you. And if you're playing games or stuff, you're not going to learn much that way. So yeah, so thanks for checking out Ada's creative dress. That's just one of the few things she does.